All right, man. Welcome back. Another episode of Row 26. Here we are. Talk to them, baby. Sixers, Dreamers, Hotheads. We're back. Always welcome my astute colleague in the business, sitting in the back, smoking a J.
Hey, gotta get smoking. Just got home from the gym a little bit ago. Crushing it out. Got my fucking frequent wire towel. I'm fucking one of the top 50 gym goers at my gym. Fucking mad.
Joey gave me such a chuckle. Joey gave me such a chuckle.
That was very funny. They thought it was JCCY. Because, like, I'm also live in Pennsylvania now. Like, I know maybe two Jewish people. Like, it's not like New York.
Pennsylvania has a Jewish presence, I would say, a little bit. The governor, Shapiro, is Jewish. There you go.
True, but not compared to where we grew up. You know what I mean? Where
it's
yeah.
New York is a whole different animal.
Yeah. Pretty much every other person where we grew up was Jewish. You know, maybe not quite, but like,
no, it felt that way in Rockland for sure.
Yeah, but I guess I know a lot less people here too. So just being an adult, you know, man over 25 making friends is.
That's just funny though. Off of a towel, it just says the Y, and it's like you associate immediately to JCCY, not the YMCA. That's just the best.
And also just the contradiction of it's the Young Men's Christian Academy. It couldn't be less. You know, it's the most Catholic or most Christian thing there is.
So how did you earn the towel, by the way?
It's just attendance. Like I've been at the gym like in the top like 50 gym goers.
Listen, man, commitment. That's what it takes, man. That's how you get buff. That's how
I'm in there 5 days a week. You know, I'm out here fucking getting big. I mean, I gotta work on the diet now. I'm going to Miami next month, so I'm thinking about like a crash diet. Just like I'll just literally just chicken and spinach.
You'll have some nice Cuban food down there, and you'll break all that fucking diet and have a great time.
It'll literally just be like for the pictures when I first get there, like the first day party, and then after that, we're gonna go out to dinner or whatever. It'll be dead.
Absolutely,
you know,
that's amazing.
It was funny because I walk in there and I'm like, you know, I'm getting there a little late. It closes early on Friday, so I'm like huffing in there, going quick, and the guy's like, "Hey, stop!" I'm like. I thought like my fucking card got declined or some shit. Fucking, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? I know.
Look for your towel, bro.
It's like I'm not 17 anymore. I know I got money, and he's like, you were frequent wire, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, like that's cool. And I like still kept going. He's like, no, hang on. I'm like, what? And then he gave me the towel. I got my like little sticker with my name on it. I was very happy. Very happy.
He doesn't want these awards. He doesn't want these awards, but
no, I do. It felt good. It's good to like. Recognition is always
You don't do
nice.
it for the awards, is what I'm saying. You don't do it for the awards.
Nah, I do it for fucking so I don't beat the shit out of somebody randomly. You know, it's my mental.
Get all that anxiety and anger out. Yeah, hell yeah.
And also so I can sleep at night. You know, just to get that energy. I have all that built up energy. I've always just been. I never was a good sleeper. I always just had so much energy, and I'd sit in my bed. And my thoughts would race, and I'd go to all these different scenarios that are so unrealistic and so out of control, but somehow my mind would take me there. And this has been better than any medicine, anything like that. Just working hard and then working out and then going home tired is the best medicine for me. That's my treatment. And then along with my dog, of course, you know, so it's been awesome. And, you know, it's a good, like I was saying, recognition in anything is good. Validation in anything always is just another plus.
You're not looking for it too.
Yeah. Especially, I was like looking for the opposite. I was trying to go work out, and they got stopped me.
It's a big part of it. Yeah.
No, it's good. No, good times. Football starting back up. Preseason.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and act like I'm a preseason guy. Even the Cowboys on Sunday, I'd be shocked if I made it through more than a quarter. It's just not the same. It's like watching
at all. I mean, watching Eric Gray was nice. I mean, he had some pop to him, but as a Giants fan, you look for any signs of hope at the running back position now that Saquon's gone. But, you know, like I like Eric Gray for what he offers, but it's hard to tell. Like you're playing third stringers, you're playing a lot of guys that you won't see in week one. And if we faced against like Aiden Hutchinson and these boys, like what would it look like for real? And that's the thing. That's what I wonder, and how the offense is going to look for the Giants. I feel like Jones should be playing preseason. It's maybe a cold take, but like I don't know what he is right now off the injury. He really hasn't proven still a ton in a sense. Like he had the one run, but still like I don't know. I feel like he should be playing at least one game at the end of the preseason just to get some reps, some live action, something. It should be a half maybe at the end of the preseason. I don't know if they'll do it, but he should.
I think I think that's a good point. I mean, you could see a lot from, preseason, just kind of seeing where their mentals are at. I think like the big thing, my big takeaway of preseason is always like, it's few and far between that you see someone like emerge who you already weren't expecting to make an impact, like the Victor Cruz, Cruz 3-touchdown game. And you're like, okay, this guy might be a player. Tony Romo for the Cowboys back in the day, playing in preseason when he eventually took Bledsoe's spot. That was like a time where you're like, all right, this guy actually did enough in the preseason to show that, or even Dak when Tony Romo got hurt, but he also had the season where he played
Russell
very well.
Wilson over Matt Flynn when Matt Flynn got behind all that money, and then Russell Wilson came in from Wisconsin as a rookie and won the job. That's another. That's another good one. I mean, like I said, it's few and far in between. And like Russell, the 4th-round pick. I think Dak as well. Cruz undrafted. Romo undrafted. Yeah, 4th-round picks. That's good. Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But no, it is exciting. Just to have football back on TV. Even just leaving the gym, the Eagles game is on the radio. I'm listening to it on the radio. Just like getting it's preseason for us fans too, if you will. Getting warmed up, getting the idea back of football in our lives.
And chances are, if you're a football fan, you have fantasy going too now. Like you get fantasy started going with your teams, and we got fantasy going. Obviously, knowing our draft picks starting to mock and shit. Got a couple weeks away from the draft, so it's a lot to look forward to right now. And then we got Olympics finishing up as well. Obviously, with the U.S. barely winning with every All-Star on their team against one guy and Bogdanovic.
Yeah, we got some Hots Corner stuff. Maybe we'll just get into that and we'll go off from there. So
let's do it.
We don't spoil anything.
I'm in the Hot Corner tonight. You guys hear the music? I'll crank it up a little bit so you guys can get into the mode. Make sure you grab a coffee, whatever you want. Grab yourself a bourbon. Grab yourself a joint, whatever. We're in the Hot Corner right now, chilling. Hot's got questions tonight.
Grab yourself an 8-ball.
8-ball. Grab yourself a key like Marcus Jordan.
Bump man. Yeah. I saw someone say that. They were like, his dad was Jumpman and he's Bumpman. I thought that was pretty good.
No.
I don't remember who tweeted or whatever. I should remember for the credit. I'm sorry, but it was a very good tweet. All right. I'm going to start it off with who is the ugliest professional athlete?
The ugliest professional athlete. Wow. Boban Marjanovic, is that his name? Boban 7'4" guy on Dallas, like goofy.
Yeah, Boban. I don't know how to say his last name, to be honest, but I know who you're talking about. I want to say Bogdanovic, but I think that's just all the other guys.
I think it's Marjanovic.
All right, that's how it's written at least. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's ugly. He's for sure ugly. Would you rather fight a cheetah or a light heavyweight UFC fighter?
Just for color, how much is a light heavyweight UFC fighter ranged?
205 is what they weigh in. They're probably fighting around 225, 230. 6'4".
Or a cheetah. Probably the human. I'd probably go against the human being.
And let's say, just real quick, a top 5 ranked, because there's obviously levels in the UFC. So we'll say like an elite light heavyweight.
Probably cheetah.
You'd rather fight the cheetah.
I think I'd rather fight the cheetah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Power rank these teams that never won a title. This one's a little wordy. I'll try to go slow. Mm-hmm. The 01-02 61-21 Kings with Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Peja, Divac, Bobby Jackson, Young Hito, Young Gerald Wallace. The 1998 Minnesota Vikings with Randall Cunningham, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Robert Smith, Jake Reed, Randall McDaniel, and John Randall, 15-1. Or the 2001 Mariners, 116-46. Ichiro, Brett Boone, John Olerud, Edgar Martinez, Jamie Moyer, Freddie Garcia, Kaz Sasaki.
Which is the one that should have won a title is the question, or what is the question?
I guess like who was most deserving of the title, who was the best,
man. Of those teams, I would say, man, that's tough. The worst team of those teams is the Kings team, in my opinion.
Okay, so they're third.
I would say Minnesota's second. The Seattle Mariner team is number 1 in terms of just like the best team. I would say the team that should have won like of those three should have been the Kings. And
All right, we'll expand in the recap.
Okay.
What is the best Keanu Reeves movie?
Speed is so good. It sits in my heart. I love that fucking movie, man. That's tough though. The Matrix. I would say The Matrix. Got it. Chalk.
All right.
Yeah.
What is the most important assistant coach in sports? I.e., coordinators, pitching coaches, hitting coaches, basketball assistant coach, hockey, whatever.
I would say the play caller, so offensive coordinator.
Would you rather be the first human to negotiate with aliens or be able to talk to one species of animals?
Oh, one species of animals.
All right. Pick your starting five out of the best basketball players in the NFL.
In the NFL?
Yeah.
Pick your starting five of the best basketball players out of the NFL players.
Yes, correct.
Oh my. Pick your starting five. All right, DK Metcalf. Who else plays ball that I would imagine? Micah plays some ball, I saw. Micah Parsons would be another guy. Well, Terrell Owens. No, we can't do old guys. No, we'll do current guys, I guess. Devontae Adams. There's another guy that balls. Plays basketball. Basketball? This is a cool question. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else would be a basketball player. I can imagine being a basketball player. Maybe Debo Samuel, maybe? I feel like he's just like a type of athlete. And then the last guy, maybe like D-Hop. I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, so Devontae Adams, Debo, Micah Parsons, Hopkins, and who was the first one again? Just so I have them written down.
DK.
Okay, word. Moving on. On a scale of 1 to 10, how impressive was USA basketball's comeback versus Serbia?
How impressive?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10.
8. I give it an 8.
Would you rather be reincarnated as a quarterback for the Giants or shortstop for the Yankees?
The shortstop for the Yankees.
What is the best Biggie song?
I Love the Dough, featuring Jay-Z.
Top 5 picks in fantasy football this year. Who should they be and in what order?
Number 1 would be Tyreek Hill. Number 2 would be Christian McCaffrey. Number 3 would be probably Justin Jefferson. Number 4 would be Jamar Chase. Number 5 would be you said 5 or that's it, right? 5. The 5th guy is tough. I'm thinking Amon-Ra St. Brown is one name. I'm thinking Hit Breece Hall is another name there. I think I like Amon-Ra there.
Amon-Ra, all right. And then what's more impressive for a man in their 30s? 225-pound bench press or a 7.5-minute mile?
I would say 7.5-minute mile.
All right, we'll take it from the top. Who is
the hot corner? I like it.
Thank you. Who is the ugliest professional athlete? You went Boban. That's a good one. I obviously wrote the question. I had some time to think on it.
Yeah. Who'd you come up with in your head? Who was like the guy?
Even though I had time to think about it right away, and I think it's because we used to joke about it in college, was Sheldon Williams. Sheldon, you remember Sheldon
Williams from
Duke?
The center from Duke.
Yeah, from Duke and the Celtics. He's the ugliest. And somehow he wound up with Candace Parker. So it's like a running joke in our friend group. Like, how in the world did Sheldon Williams wind up with Candace Parker?
Man,
obviously
he has nothing to worry about with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's never cheating.
Yeah.
His forehead the size of a map of the United States.
Yeah. Like, including Canada.
Like one that was like on your placemat as a little kid.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sheldon Williams, super ugly. You know,
shout out the eyes too.
Yeah, his eyes were like on opposite sides of his head, like on opposite sides of the placemat of the
He was
map.
definitely a weird looking guy.
He's one of the ugliest dudes I ever saw. I couldn't believe it when him and Candace Parker got together. I think I don't know if they're still married. I know they were married at one point.
I don't know if I knew that. I think I might have known that, but when you just said that, it sounded familiar, but that's hilarious.
I was going to say shout out Brittany Griner, but then I guess like if you're evaluating her as a dude, she might be handsome. I don't know. So
oh man, we're getting political now. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if you saw, she was like, someone's like, oh, are you ready to be a mom? And she's like, a pops. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
That's a little much. These people would be going extra mile, like just trying to set the tone for their movements and can't just live normally and just live within it.
They, you know, a love story didn't last, I guess. It's saying here that ex-husband, so. They have a daughter, so they had sex at least once.
Probably.
So.
You climbed the tree. Yeah.
Probably, but not even probably. I mean, they have a daughter.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you never
at
know.
Least once.
Could have been trade up. You never know nowadays with these people.
That's true. You never know. There's shows about paternity court.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather fight a cheetah or a light heavyweight UFC fighter? You said cheetah. I think a cheetah, if I'm not mistaken, weighs about like 160 pounds. So you probably have a little weight on it. If you could get behind
like a German Shepherd.
If you maybe a little bigger German Shepherd, but if you could get behind it, you could probably choke it. You know, their arms aren't very long. They're super fast. But I don't know, if you land like a good shot, they're not like a super predator. They try to get like other fast prey. If a light heavyweight fighter, I also thought of like the circumstances got to come into play. Like if you had broken into like Alex Pereira's house and you were like,
or you're
fighting
just out in the woods and you're just out there and it's just wild human.
Yeah, if you're fighting to the death, give me the cheetah all day, every day, because I have zero chance.
He's gonna kill me. Yeah.
Yeah, Pereira kills me 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
The cheetah maybe 90 times out of 100. You know,
yeah.
Like maybe it'll maul me, but I'll still be able to eventually land a big shot, knee it in the face or something like that, knock it out, kill it with a stone. Something. Alex Pereira is killing me every single time. No question.
Possibly. Instantly.
But if we think about it, like if you're just fighting, like you just get into a street fight, Alex Pereira might like knock you down, knock you out even, but like have mercy on you. Whereas a cheetah, if they do wind up with
if he knocks you out, it's gonna eat you.
It's gonna rip your throat out for sure. So it's kind of like you have to think. So I guess we have to evaluate it like it has to be a fight to the death, or else it's kind of like.
There is the other component that you could intimidate the cheetah at some point or another within the fighting. If you grab a brick or some kind of something while you're fighting it, you intimidate the cheetah to run away because the cheetah can't communicate with you versus like an apex predator, like a fucking light heavyweight. That's just a human being that if he got knocked down, there's no way he's not getting back up, is the point. And feeling that intimidation or feeling any kind of like this person might have me, I should run away at this point, which some animals sometimes do.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point, because even if you like scream really loud,
right, like a bear, similar to like that interaction, right.
You just fucking freak out. Maybe they're just like, maybe I should just look for an antelope.
This guy would be a lunatic. Yeah.
And then, but like an Alex Pereira, like
he's not buying that
because you never intimidate him. You probably couldn't even hurt him. Like he's been trained his whole life taking shots, taking punches from other big, strong.
It would hurt you to punch him and kick him. Yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. If I hit Alex Pereira as hard as I could, I'm most likely hurting myself more than I'm hurting him. There's a 0.0% chance. The only argument that you can make is like he might take mercy on you. But if we're saying it has to be a fight to the death, or like your family dies, like he's going to kill you 100 times out of 100. So I agree with you. I think that's the wise choice. And even if it wasn't like, even if they did take mercy on you, you still might have a better chance of just getting away scot-free versus a cheetah. If you land a big, like I said, cheetah runs in full speed, you knee it in the jaw, you could fuck it up. A cheetah
grab by the tail as it runs by you. Like you just deke one moment, grab him by the tail,
like a fighter. No, I mean that's a fucking heavy to swing over your head, 160 pounds.
Man, that
bullfighter.
that adrenaline rush, like a ma lifting a car when her kid's arm is trapped underneath, type of thing. You might just do it.
That's true. And but you make like a bullfighter like fights a bull and wins.
Bro.
Like they trick it. You could outsmart it. Like hide behind a tree, try to trick them into running into the tree, something like that. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you have a better shot. The third one is power rank those teams that never won.
This is a good question.
You said as terms of the best, you said the Mariners, then the Vikings, then the Kings. But you said in terms of who probably had the best opportunity to win a championship.
Who should have won in my eyes.
Yeah. Those Kings teams of that era definitely felt like they were just on the precipice. Obviously running into those Kobe and Shaq Laker teams a lot along the way. And I can't remember if it was Game 7 or not. It might have been a different game in the series, but a pivotal late series game, maybe Game 6 or Game 7, was the Robert Horry tip-out game. Mm-hmm. And I remember Horry talking about it himself, and he's like, oh, Shaq has it in the paint. He's just going to turn around, drop step, dunk on everybody. He's like, Kobe's got it. He's just going to pull up. He's going to knock it down. And then Shaq just tips the ball out. And it just ends up in Robert Horry's hands, and he fucking drills it to win the game. And it's crazy because he's like, Chris Webber was talking about, he's like, it wasn't a lucky shot. Robert Horry's been knocking down shots his whole career, but it was a lucky play. They didn't draw it up like that.
Shaq bought the layup, and then it was a tip ball, and he just smacked it out. It was a whole broken play. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, what do you remember most about those teams or that?
Well, that's the Tim Donahue series, as we know, which is obviously what people know as like the free throws. Like I believe there's like 24 free throw attempts for the Lakers in the second half of that game. So a lot of conspiracy around the Kings even losing that series, to be honest, which forced it to a Game 7. That was in that Game 6. Before all that stuff, I believe it was either in the Game 6 or the Game 7, but one of them had an egregious number of free throw attempts in that second half. And obviously, if you look up the Tim Donahue story, which is the guy who got indicted for gambling on games, one of the major games was that Kings series against the Lakers. So that's why I also said the should have, because it felt like they got hosed learning about that.
That's true. Getting cheated out of it.
They're getting cheated out of it. Yeah. So that's a big component. I mean, and the other thing I thought about was the Mariners had a great team, and they were the other team I was considering that should have won maybe, but the Yankees also won over 100 games, I'm pretty sure, that year. It wasn't like there wasn't another team that wasn't incredible that same year that had won championships to that point, a couple of championships, and or at least one.
I mean, the one thing that stood out about that Mariners team is they have the best record in the regular season in the history of baseball. 116.
That's why they're the number one team, right?
Yeah, 116 and 46. Ichiro just breaking out onto the scene. Brett Boone having a career year.
Crazy.
Jamie Moyer. Yeah, no, I think Randy was gone by that point. He was on the Diamondbacks at that point.
98. I think he was on that 98 team. I think that's.
No, it wasn't. It was 2001.
Oh, the 116 team was 2001.
Yeah. Ichiro wasn't even in the MLB in 98.
I thought you were talking about the 98 series. So 2001.
Yeah, there's no
100 games then. Did the Yankees win over 100 games then? What I just said, because I was talking about 98.
I'm not positive. The 98 Yankees were definitely better than the 2001 Yankees, though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yankees lost in 2001. They blew it against the Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. 2001, the Diamondbacks had Randy Johnson. So this is
right. That's why we know that. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's how I know that. I was talking about 98 right there, of course.
Yeah. So this isn't the Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson.
Yes.
This is Ichiro, Brett Boone, Jamie Moyer, Freddie Garcia.
This is another sick team.
Yeah.
Not everyone in a sense with Randy and Ken Griffey, and that's a cool team. And this Alex Rodriguez, that's a different kind of cool.
Oh yeah, Jay Buhner, that team was sick.
Yeah. Two different types of teams. Yeah.
This team, just every single player was super duper good, and then Ichiro, rookie MVP, dominating the league. But everyone was good. Everyone hit. John Olerud, they all hit. They all played defense. Everyone on the pitching staff was solid. Kyle Sasaki was a lockdown closer at that point. It was just a real cool team. I remember fondly. But in the playoffs, couldn't get it done. The Mariners obviously never won a World Series, and that was kind of their big year. And then just to recap, the Vikings obviously 15-1, Hall of Famers galore.
Yeah.
Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Randall Cunningham, not a Hall of Famer, but Randall McDaniel Hall of Famer, John Randall Hall of Famer,
Yeah,
just an absolute stacked squad.
that ball coach, whatever his name is. What's his Tice? Is that his name?
No, I think this is like Denny Green.
Denny Green, with the jacket, starter jacket.
Yeah. They are who they thought they were. Later on in his career.
We let him off the hook.
Yeah, that guy. Obviously,
there was only one other team, by the way, that had over 100 wins that season with the Mariners, and it wasn't the Yankees. The Yankees had 95. Can you name the team?
2001, 100 wins. I'm gonna say not the Diamondbacks, even though they won the World Series.
Nope.
The Braves.
That's a good guess, but no, they finished top of their division though. It was the Oakland Athletics in the same division as Seattle.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they had a 20-game winning streak that year.
That was the whole Moneyball shit.
Yeah, era. Yeah, I think they had a 20-game winning streak that year because they were like not even in the playoffs, and then they won 20 games in a row.
Insane.
Yeah, no, great. That's a good pull. But that Vikings team was awesome. I really think what held them back was like, as much as Randall Cunningham is a spectacular athlete and a good quarterback, I don't think he's necessarily the quarterback that is good enough to be, driving force of a Super Bowl team, especially at that advanced age. Maybe if it was like 1990 Randall Cunningham as opposed to 98 Randall Cunningham. But I think he's probably what held them back
Randall
ultimately.
Cunningham, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously super fast, but like, do you want a super fast quarterback when you have Randy Moss and Chris Carter, or do you?
Yeah, Robert Smith, the beast.
Robert Smith was a monster. Another guy who could catch the ball, run the ball.
Yeah, they had a great team.
Underrated college football analyst too.
Yeah, he's good. He is good. I do like him
awesome
as well
on TV.
ESPN. I think that Minnesota has had this problem for fucking 2 decades. It feels like now, like at least the mid quarterback. Like they've never really. Dante was probably, I think, the closest, but in general, Cunningham was also the closest. They went 15-1, so it evens out in a sense of like, yes, the weapons were different when it was just Randy Moss when Chris Carter moved on and retired. So, I mean,
I would say
I've been Kirk, and then you have Kirk. It's just like
it's almost like a prime Culpepper on that team would have been better than Randall Cunningham, just because he has a bigger
Adrian
arm.
Peterson.
Yeah. Just because he had a bigger arm, like Randall Cunningham, wasn't definitely had a weak arm, but Dante Culpepper could fucking sling it. And with Randy Moss, that would have been a problem.
Dante a Hall of Famer?
What'd you say?
Is Culpepper a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so. Hall of very good, maybe. Not quite there for me, I would say.
Let's see. 3-time Pro Bowler? No.
Yeah, not quite there.
Not quite there.
I'm sure he accumulated some big stats, but all right, we'll move on from there. That was a fun one, though.
Let's go.
What is the best Keanu Reeves movie? The Matrix. So I want to try to guess the movie that you were thinking of when you were like, I love this movie so much, but I got to go with The Matrix. And I'm going to guess Hardball.
No, it was Speed.
Speed is a dope movie, too.
With Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Without some commercials on TBS, it's a great movie when you just watch it actually the correct way, not when it's replaying 100,000 times being killed by local television.
Yeah, no cursing. But even on TBS, it's like if it's on, you might leave it on, depending on what else is on.
Who's the bad guy in Speed? What's his name? You got
Dennis Hopper?
Yeah, that's it.
Dennis Hopper, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
he's a good actor. He makes like Entourage cameos and shit.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper.
He's a good.
They were like gambling on fucking soccer, and he was like 100,000. Yeah. That was a good movie. Sandra Bullock's awesome in it. She got the Arizona Wildcats pullover sweatshirt, if I remember, or t-shirt or something.
Yep.
But Hardball is what I was thinking. I love Hardball.
Too, yeah,
Hardball,
for sure.
I had Hardball on VHS in the house, and I probably watched it.
First time you watch Hardball, it brings out all the emotions when you see the ending, and it's just like, yeah.
And how they do it, where like they don't show what happened in the game, and they show the spoiler alert, G-Baby getting shot. And then they cut back to like him getting that little hit, and they bring the infield in to win the game. Like
the way they film that movie really gets you to feel.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves telling the story, the flawed, protagonist. Even like when he goes in to like teach the class, and he's like, or not teach the class, but like be a speaker because he's supposed to like work at a law firm, and his fucking suit like is like way too short, and showing like his white socks in like a black suit, and it was like Who's the teacher in that? She's a big actress. What's her name? Fuck.
Oh yeah. Let me see.
Ashley Judd, maybe.
That might be the name. Let me say. The other movie that I would say before Hardball, actually, for me, is The Replacement.
Replacements rocks. That's another movie I watched so many times. I had that one on VHS also, but like recorded, like from TV onto a VHS tape.
It's incredible. Diane Lane. That's it. Diane Lane.
Diane Lane with like a white like piece of tape that wrote like the Replacements on it. Like I actually recorded that from
Such
the
a
TV.
funny movie. It's just so classic, and like the whole angle and like the way the starting quarterback, whatever his name is,
Shane Falco.
No, not Falco. The actual starting quarterback and how big of a prick he is. Like,
Eddie Martell.
Eddie Martell. Oh my god.
Eddie Martell. I could probably name you all the character names in that movie. I fucking love that movie.
So give me. Obviously, we know Clifford Franklin. We're not even have to mention him.
Ray Smith was like the
Ray Smith was the Stacy. Yeah. The linebacker was what's his name? Oh,
Nigel Gruff was the kicker.
Yeah.
The linebacker name was something like Billy Batts or something.
No,
like
Danny.
Danny. He's like Danny.
Yeah, Danny something. I don't know
have his name. I can't say. What about the coach?
I'm thinking of the tight end right now, the deaf tight end.
Yeah, I know it's Ryan. I know it's Ryan. I don't know his last name. Gene Hackman, the coach.
Gene Hackman, legend. Yeah, Enemy of the Day, like so many movies. Gene Hackman, man.
What's the Gene Hackman's name in the movie? I can't think of it right now. Fucking killing me.
Man, that's a tough trivia question. Hold on, we got to figure it out. We can't look.
Yeah.
The coach.
That's a bad one.
Fuck. I wish we had a chat.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. I'm gonna look it up.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I love, like you talked about. We're talking about all these side characters. I love like their stories, like Nigel Gruff with like the gambling.
The two offensive linemen. The one guy is super famous. He's in lots of stuff. The offensive line. The two gangster guys.
Faison Love is the actor.
Yeah.
They're brothers. The other actor is a big guy.
The other guy's nothing. He's just like in that one movie, I believe.
But his name is Jimmy McGinty.
Jimmy McGinty. Damn, that's a trivia question. That was mentioned for sure in the movie, for sure.
And John Favreau's the linebacker, Danny Bateman.
John Favreau, yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Faison Love is Jamal Jackson. The brothers Andre Jackson. And then we knew Ray Knight. That was like his like stage name almost because he was in prison. They couldn't say his real name. His real name is Earl Wilkinson. Eddie Martell was right. Yeah, no, what a movie. But they all had such good, like I said, like
great side characters. Great casting for that movie, for sure.
Yeah, good. That's a good one. I'm trying to think if there's any other Keanu's shout outs. Bill and Ted, obviously.
What's that one series that people like that he's like an individual?
John Wick.
That's it. Yeah, that one.
John Wick's big. I'm trying to think of a movie. There was him and Steve Martin. I think it was called Parenthood, and he's like the boyfriend of the daughter. Very good movie.
Conversation though.
No, it's good. I want to show. It's a 1989. It's comedy. These fucking young ass Keanu Reeves, mad good. I'm telling you, you never saw it. That's why you're shitting on it. Listen to this cast. Listen to this. Let me hear.
Oh, they overloaded the cast because the plot's terrible. Let me hear this.
No, that's a good. You literally heard nothing.
I'm playing.
Kids. But listen to this cast. Remember, a lot of these guys are young. Steve, not this guy. Steve Martin, Joaquin Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, Diane West, Mary Sternberger, Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's a good, solid core cast right there.
He's a funny guy.
I had
that's the same guy from Little Giants. Is that right?
Yeah, that's Rick Moranis. Little Giants. Great film.
He's great.
All right, we'll move on.
I think he lives in the building that Cruz works in.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Hot take.
What is the most important assistant coach in sports?
Yeah,
offensive coordinator.
The OC. I feel like that's crucial. Call bad plays, you're probably terrible. Ellen Moore.
Yeah, offensive coordinator I think is a very good answer. Defensive coordinator obviously also up there. I was thinking pitching coach is fucking big too. You see a lot of pitchers go from one team to another,
and their
game
on that
just
switch.
goes up. I mean, you see that with the like the '90s Braves a lot. You saw that with the current Tampa Bay Rays a lot. You see that with the Pirates a lot.
Houston was a team for a while.
Houston's another good one. There's 3 guys on the Pirates who throw like 103 plus right now.
Oh.
I mean, obviously the pitching coaches didn't help Aroldis Chapman. He's been,
or what's his name, the first over Skeens. That guy was throwing gas for a minute now.
But I think that's like a good example of like a young pitcher coming up and getting into a team like that. But it is hard to argue with the offensive coordinator, especially if they are play calling. We know a lot of head coaches do call the plays still, but less and less it feels like nowadays. On the back of the offensive coordinator, one who I do think is underrated. Maybe not as important as the OC, the quarterback's coach. I think the quarterback coach is massive in football. That's why you see a lot of them get elevated quickly. OC, head coach. I think the quarterback coach is the guy, who not only knows the X's and O's, but has to keep the quarterback like measured. And even the backup quarterback, like the whole quarterback room, I feel like is so vital. Position rooms in general in the NFL.
But he puts the cinder blocks on for the quarterbacks in a sense. Like he's tracking their progression. It's their progression's almost solely his responsibility. So there's like a fine line to being their friend versus their coach in a sense, because these guys are alpha males. They're superhuman smarts. They can remember playbooks, shit like that. There's a way to communicate as a quarterback coach to both leverage and tap into their expertise and get them to play at their highest level without offending them that you're the coach and like shit like that. There's like a dynamic, I'm sure, to being the quarterback coach that is hard. Like,
and it's also like
that room.
You're also like in a middle management spot in a way.
Right.
Like speaking from experience, like coming from the head of the company to you, to being the buffer to in this case, the players or just employees, is a difficult role to tightrope walk, because you kind of have to be an authoritative figure, but also be like, fuck the boss, to keep like, camaraderie good. So it's kind of like, you have to be like that. It's got
to be your own room in a sense, within the bubble of the other bubble. It's got to be your own bubble.
All a team, but this is our team here. That like our team, like as much as we are working with them, but we also have to like, you have to kind of push back to the upper management sometimes and be like, no, that was on you. You didn't communicate this correctly. Like you have to find that niche where you aren't babying being the people underneath you, but you also can't just always just deliver the news that was delivered to you exactly how it was delivered to you.
It's also why you see a lot of times at the quarterback and the head coach, like Mahomes and Andy Reid, what ends up happening is they end up being the two guys, and the quarterback coach becomes a little bit more obsolete, and his more role is to just be the mouthpiece for the quarterback within, it seems like probably within like a day-to-day or game-to-game, like Andy Reid standing at the front, so the quarterback coach is sitting with Patrick Mahomes. But we always see Andy go over and walk and sit down with Patrick during the game and things like that at different points, but the quarterback coach is going to be there every time, after every drive, the whole time, speaking for the quarterback, speaking for what Mahomes is seeing and what the side comments that he's saying out of the side of his mouth that are important that the coach maybe won't hear, and whatever it might be.
And also just things like when maybe not doesn't happen with Andy Reid and Mahomes, but like the head coach chews out the quarterback for making a bad decision, like he has to kind of come up and be like, all right, next play, we got to forget about that. This is what you did wrong, but we know when this is open here on the next opportunity, we got to hit it. Like, keep your head up. We're going to come back and get this. Like, it's a very fickle role, like where you can't, like I said, you can't baby them, but you also have to be like their cheerleader at the same time.
100%.
It's tough, and like we've seen it blow up with the move from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator. Most recently, a good example is Brian Johnson in Philly, where he was the quarterback coach only when they went to the Super Bowl in 2022, 2023. Where, Jalen Hurts was on fire. Everything was working. Everything was clicking. Shane Steichen's calling the plays.
Yeah.
But my point being is that, like, now you try to he obviously was doing a good job at quarterback coach. Now you try to elevate him to OC, and now he is responsible for more than just Jalen and he has to figure out blitz pickups and the offensive line and the skill position players and has all this other responsibility on him, like you can be great in that quarterback coach role, especially if familiarity like Brian Johnson did with Jalen Hurts, but then not be able to take that to the next level. It's a specialized role.
He got demoted again because they brought in Kellen Moore.
Yeah, no, he was the coordinators in Philly were bad last year. But moving on, we'll go on to the next question. I think you answered that correct. And D coordinator also is right there with it, but it isn't as calling plays on offense is different than calling plays on defense because plays on defense are by nature reactionary. Mm-hmm. You're just calling where you're supposed to be for the most part and where you're supposed to move.
Still make star player plays even if they're on man coverage and they see something happening, or zone players. Like plays are a little bit more. There's a fluidity to defense versus like on offense. It's like if you call the wrong play at the wrong time and you lead a bad drive, you're fucking yourself.
To steal a quote from Steve Young, offense is like glorified choreography. Everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to do step for step on the play. Whereas defense, you have a responsibility, whether that be a gap, a zone, a man and man coverage, or, it's not the same as offense where it's all designed like you react to what the offense is doing and that affects what your responsibility is, whether the play goes left or right, whether the guard, you as a linebacker, you read from guard to quarterback to mid linebacker. So if the guard pulls, your responsibility is different than if the guard blocks down. So It's like the play calling isn't as, like I said, choreographed. It's more reactionary. So like you could call a great defensive play or the right defensive play. Like I said, even a great defensive play almost like doesn't make sense because like it needs to be executed as offense does, but it's still more player dependent than a play.
Usually if it's good offense versus good defense, the good offense is going to win every time because it's more about the execution versus like a general perspective of covering an area.
And that's my point, especially when it comes to the play call. If you call the perfect play on offense, it's basically gonna work. If you catch the defense in the wrong and you like on defense, you can call a good blitz, so let's say, and it works and you get a free rusher. But if the quarterback just like spins out of it, you don't really affect the game. It's less. If you just call a perfect offensive play, let's say you're on like the 4-yard line and you see they stack the box and you call the play action fullback in the flats and he's just wide open, it's just a perfect play call. If you call the fake counter quarterback sweep around the outside, he's going to walk into the end zone. Defensively, you really never have walk plays. You could say you call a great blitz on a dive and you tackle them as soon as they hand off the ball, but that's so much more rare than a great offensive play call, And even a great blitz requires the linebacker to read
or like a corner jumps a screen and it's a house call type of thing, and it's just like a bang bang play.
But even that's probably more the corner than the play caller.
Exactly, that's what I was saying before. More star oriented, good free safeties, good corners. They're going to make plays no matter what the play call is. If the play on offense is not for the star receiver and it's for the tight end, the star receiver on maybe that play will not be in the fold there because that's not what they're doing and that's not part of that strategy. It's so much more meticulous.
And the defense, it's almost like the defensive coordinator's job. It's more done, and also the offense obviously installing the game plan, but it's more done during the week and preparing the defense.
You're going to see.
To watch the tape and be like, this is what they do. This is how you're going to react to this play. How are you going to react to this play? How are you going to react to this play? When this guy goes in motion like this, it's more done during the week so that when the game happens, they don't have to think because they're prepared. Whereas an offensive coordinator, you're thinking like, okay, this is how I'm going to react to this. It's more in the moment.
Could even change at halftime, to be honest.
The only argument you can make is that like nowadays quarterbacks are calling a lot of plays at the line based on what they see. But that's also probably the offensive coordinator be like, if they're in this, do this. If they're in this, do this.
Probably like 5 to 6 guys that truly call their own offense in the league, maybe. Most guys are getting the call in.
Even when Peyton was out there like calling everything, Tom Moore was still giving him like 3 or 4 plays to choose from. It wasn't just
like trip set, like whatever. He probably
like out of the whole playbook, call whatever you want at the line, Right. So, but we'll move on for that. That was a good talk. That was an interesting conversation. Would you rather be the first human to negotiate with aliens or be able to talk to one species of animals?
I went with the one species because I don't believe I'm ever going to get a chance to talk to an alien. So I went with the one.
You're not gonna get. I hate to break it to you, you're not going to get a chance to talk to a species of animals either.
That's fine, but I'm saying if it was tangible, like I'm actually choosing, like
Yeah.
I feel like, I guess both are not going to happen. That's a good point.
Yeah. What do you mean?
That's a good point. I guess the realistic nature of talking to an animal superseded the realistic nature of talking to an alien in my head. Even though they're both unrealistic. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. But anyway, I would still pick the
I would
animal.
argue you're more likely in your lifetime
I want to talk
to an
to fish,
alien.
bro. I want to know what they know about the ocean. I want to talk to some fish.
That's funny. I almost wrote this question as: would you rather be the first to negotiate with aliens, or would you rather create a device to get to the bottom of the ocean and see like if there's anything down there you could communicate with?
I'm taking a whale down to the bottom of the ocean. I'm riding around its fin. We out.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I mean, but fish isn't a species. Like you'd have to narrow
Just
that
all
down
fish.
quite a
Like,
bit.
Everything in the water, like fish. I just said that as a general.
That's not the question though. That'd be like I want to talk to all primates. That's not a species. You got to pick like silverback gorilla.
All killer whales.
That's pretty good. There's orcas. Just like get an army of orcas.
Yeah, exactly.
They can like flip over boats and shit.
And
You
they're
can be like a pirate.
They're defending from sharks. When I'm hanging out in the water or whatever, they got my back.
If you could communicate with them, you could be like, this orca said to tell this orca this. Like you could literally probably get them aligned.
Get a gang.
Yeah. You could like I said, you could be a pirate. You could like flip over boats and
let
shit.
them know like you guys don't know anything about like back in the day the Roman Empire. Let me teach you guys how you guys can just own the entire ocean. We can do this together.
You should be like fucking. You could start your own SeaWorld in the ocean.
SeaWorld. You get an army of sharks that work for you.
And you just be like in a fucking glass thing at the top. Like just
like maybe with a rope. And I just have
Orcas is a good species to choose. I don't know if I've just seen Planet of the Apes a bunch of times, but I would just pick like silverback gorillas and just fucking ride out. Teach them how to like
lion.
You could like teach gorillas like how to use guns. Like they have like opposable thumbs. You know what I mean? Like you could teach them how to use like weapons and drive. Scary. You could teach them like how to drive. Like you know what I mean? Like,
and they have moves like the Beast character from X-Men. Like they spin around shit on the side and will like flip around and smack you right in the face. Like their movement is crazy.
You could teach them football. Imagine like you just had 11 fucking silverback gorillas lined up playing football.
Holy shit.
You just fucking destroy everything. Just run the ball every play.
Look at Joe go.
Mighty Joe Young.
Oh my god.
Give them names. They'd have to like do the interviews through you at the end of the game. They'd be like, "What's up?" It'd be like,
tell us what Joe was thinking on this third down.
Yes.
And he's like, he said that he wanted to rip their fucking heads off. That's what he said.
He said he was looking forward to seeing his girlfriend after the game. Actually, he really wanted to make her proud.
He asked if you had any bananas or to shut your face.
That would be fun though. But I mean, but talking to be like the first person to negotiate with aliens would be cool too. It'd be like, bro, like, hey, we're down to like collaborate if you guys
I feel like
are down.
I'd start talking to them, they'd get annoyed with me and just shoot me.
It depends like how intelligent they are. Imagine they're just like, dude, you're so dumb. Like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, teach me. I'll be the first to know.
Yeah. Tell me what you're looking for.
But it could go bad, you know. What was
that?
It
could go bad quick. That's what I'm saying. You say one wrong thing, like you don't bow or say please or some shit, they just blow your head off. Try the next.
There was that one bad, like almost like cult kind of classic but bad like alien movie from back in the day. I want to say like
Mars Attack.
Mars Attack. Where like they kept trying to like make peace with the aliens. The aliens just keep whipping out their guns and shooting them.
And their heads are exploding.
They just kept going with. They were like, yeah, we're ready to negotiate peace now. And they just keep pulling out their guns like 3 different times in the movie. They fucking were like, yeah, no, we're ready. We're gonna be peaceful.
You have to see it if you're watching it. You have to see Mars Attacks. Yes, what Josh is quoting right now is plastic material.
It's just so funny.
Oh my god, it's like
it was like we come in peace, and then like they're like ready to like shake hands. They just like kill the president, shoot a bunch of people. Then they're like, no, we're really ready this time. They do it again. I don't know why. I just have such funny memories of that. That was like real
Great
old
movie. Great
school.
pulp. Yeah. Their noises too.
Almost as good as Parenthood with Steve Martin and Keanu
Oh,
Reeves. Very good movie. All right, pick your starting 5 out of the best basketball players in the NFL. You went with Devontae Adams.
NFL players.
Yeah, the best. Pick your starting 5 out of the best basketball players in the NFL. Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Michael Parsons, DeAndre Hopkins, and DK Metcalf. So I know Adams is very good. The rest of them, I don't really
Mike I saw in
remember.
the celebrity game, so he can ball.
Okay, Deebo Samuel, I feel like is not the choice. He's not that tall. He is like he looks like he'd play basketball like a football player. Like
Right, exactly.
small,
He's like
jacked,
a Joey type of basketball player. Yeah, exactly.
like a Luke Haggerty.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
But,
over guarding, over fouling, doesn't know
yeah,
the rules.
fouls every play. Yeah.
3 fouls in 2 minutes, but if it's controlled, it could be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you left off a couple good ones, to be fair. I mean, Max Crosby is a fucking
I was
baller.
thinking it. You know, it's funny. That's why I said Devontae, and I was like, is Max a baller too? I'm pretty sure, like,
Max Crosby, if you've never seen his highlights, he balls. Like, he's on, like, Ball His Life. Like, he plays in some of, like, the summer leagues and stuff. He's a baller. As is Myles Garrett, another notable omission. Myles Garrett could certainly ball very well. I think those guys are kind of, like, towards
he
the
was
top
in the
of it.
celebrity game too. You're right. 2 years ago, Miles was in it.
Myles Garrett is a very good basketball player. I guess I would probably just leave off Debo and maybe Hopkins and put those 2 guys in. But DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is another guy who's a football player before he's an athlete, to be honest. Not that he's not a freak athlete. He's super fast, super strong. But, like, I don't see him translating. For example, DK doesn't have, like, a big route tree. Like, he runs fucking deep and he runs slants. And he catches
runs, like,
screens.
inside positioning goes, and it's almost just like catching. It's almost like just like throw and catch with the quarterback type
You don't
of thing.
see him
broken
running
route.
like deep outs or deep drags.
His tree is
you know.
like this. It's like
It's a fly.
Yeah.
It's a slant.
or like then there's just like
It's
one
a
plant.
fucking
Yeah.
screen. Like that's if you looked up like they have like let's say for pitchers they'd be like he throws 80% fastballs. Like if you put those 3 routes and like what he's at least making catches on, maybe not running,
Yeah.
but on the percentage of passes caught, if you took out if you said screen, fly, and slant, it would be 90%. Had to be.
Yeah, that'd be a cool website to see people's route trees, and it's just like a tree that lights up.
I think I just invented something,
Yeah,
actually.
it would be sick. Or like see a strike zone and just see what they like to throw within the strike zone, like some kind of like
Like a shot chart almost, where you see the makes and misses, but instead of
you could do it for a basketball court,
it's
and
a
it's like
100-yard field, and it shows all the routes they've caught balls on.
Hey, you could do it for any sport.
Yeah.
Tendencies,
That's
what
actually
people like.
that's a good idea. We should look into that. That's fucking. We need like Amazon AI, but we can figure
exactly,
it out.
like AWS or something. Yeah.
Yeah, AWS. There you go. That's what I was looking for. But yeah, no, I think we got to throw in Myles Garrett and Max Crosby.
Yeah, that seems right.
I'm
Devo's a bad
sure- I'm
answer.
sure
I was running out of answers at that point.
I'm sure some people are going to be like, well, this guy played at this college. He was a third-string tight end for the Broncos. Like, I don't care. Like, we're talking about people who are notable. Like, I don't
Guys
care.
that retired, it would be like T.O. and Jimmy Graham that would be on there.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez.
Julius
these guys.
Peppers, who played for UNC.
Antonio Gates. I think like these guys who played D1 college
Played
basketball.
both. Yeah, in college.
Yeah. Oh, you know who played? I think, or at least like was on the team, but I don't think he ever got in the game. Is that rookie wide receiver from the Bills when he was at Michigan State? I think before he transferred, Keon Coleman.
Oh, Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, the guy who just got drafted.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. He seems like an
I
athlete.
think he was on the team at least at Michigan State. I don't think he ever got in the game.
The most famous one that I love is Charlie Ward as a Knicks fan.
Oh, hell yeah. Charlie Ward the other way around.
Winner and then played for the Knicks.
Yeah. Charlie Ward was a good shout out. His stud. Florida State, like Keon Coleman. But moving on. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how impressive was USA Basketball's comeback versus Serbia? You said an 8. I say, fucking, they should have never even been in that situation.
But that doesn't mean the comeback wasn't itself impressive. They were down like 13 with like 4 minutes left.
When they said, like, when I first saw that they were down 15 and like the end of the second half ish, I was like, they're winning the game for sure. Like, I never doubted that they were going to win.
Brazil's cash out.
Yeah. I never was like,
there's no way.
Oh, man, they're going to lose. Like, I never, like, they should win every game by 20 points. Like,
yeah.
If they're losing, they should come back and win. You know, like, there's no reason that this, like, I give it a 2.
I'd be so anticlimactic. Honestly, like, I think it's impressive that they came back, but you know, I feel like Serbia did everything in the book that they could do to win that game. Everything, like even the shots that they shouldn't have made. There were quick threes that they made. I was nuts. There were a lot of points where it should have flipped over way earlier in the fourth quarter, and they were not giving up. Still, it should have really been over by that 4-minute mark. When you're watching as a USA fan, like if you're taking on that position in that moment, and like it's a 13-point game, and they just had that and one from 3 or whatever the fuck that was from like the left wing, and Jokic is screaming off the bench or whatever that was. I mean, you think the game at like 3:40 is like over, and then all of a sudden, it's not. And Embiid hits like 4 shots in a row, even after giving up multiple offensive rebounds, and can't rebound for shit because he can't jump at all. He's such a horrible defender that LeBron has to guard Jokic down the stretch. Very impressive by LeBron at 40 guarding Jokic down the stretch. It was fucking insane. But
I'll tell you the most unimpressive thing about it, and it's been the most unimpressive thing at the Olympics for this basketball team, in my opinion so far, is Steve Kerr is a terrible coach. Yeah. At least at the Olympic level of, you know, I know what he's done is super impressive in the NBA, but how are you going to have Derek White, Bam Adebayo, you know, play 17 minutes, get 0 points, and not play Jason Tatum at all, who could switch on everything, who can be there in the game? You know, why is he just not getting any minutes? And Derek White, like, he wasn't even supposed to be on the team until Kawhi Leonard dropped out late, so he hadn't been practicing as long. Why do
you think Tatum is not getting minutes?
I have no idea. I don't know if it's some
sort of anything on this?
I mean, I guess it would be the only take would be that Steve Kerr is trying to get in his head before the next season. But are the Warriors even contenders right now? That'd be a viable play that makes any sense. And also, if I'm a Celtics fan, I mean, the easy spin is Jaylen Brown's going to be pissed because he got left off. Jason Tatum's going to be pissed because he hasn't played. This might be like the fuck you tour 2025, you know, 2024, 2025 season NBA wise next year for the Celtics. Like, if anything, I just feel like you're giving them fuel. So
I think
I don't
so
know.
Too.
It could be mind games from Curry, you know, it could be chess, but if it is a chess move, I think it's a chess move that's going to get you set up in checkmate, you know. I think
it almost did get him set up in checkmate. They lose that game, he would have been on the chopping block.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing.
He's lucky that his boy Steph Curry bailed him out once again.
Yeah, Joel Embiid also played dominant. LeBron,
unstoppable.
Devin Booker played very well.
I agree.
I mean, when they had that A squad in, they were doing good, you know. But
no, that's why I don't like it. I don't like the Tatum thing.
They cut it to a small lead, and then they went back to the Derek White, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Edwards lineup.
I know. Oh my god.
And then it went back to the lead went back to like 13.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna, like you were saying, like Serbia did everything they could to hold them off, but it was more like Steve Kerr kept Serbia in the game or in the lead.
In the lead, yeah.
Like,
they made it harder on themselves by subbing in that lineup and didn't switch anything at all. They could have got a new flair in there with Halliburton and Tatum and took out White. Yeah.
Halliburton also didn't play. I mean, Adebayo, I don't even think should be on the team, to be honest.
No. He's been great for them. He's been great. He's a great player.
Who, Adebayo?
Yeah. He's been great in a lot of their games. I've been watching all their games.
He stunk against Serbia. I'll say.
Yeah, he was a non-factor in that game. 100% agree. Most of the bigs were non-factors. The only guy that was a factor was Embiid, and the only other guy that was technically, if you'd categorize KD as a big, even though I wouldn't, like, he was the only other guy that was kind of like. Yeah,
LeBron. You know,
LeBron does his thing every game. Like, he does exactly what's expected of him every single game, and.
People were saying, like, shit, Melo should fucking coach the team over Steve Kerr, the way he's fucking giving them instruction on the sideline.
I love that.
But no, I mean, like I said, the least impressive thing is Steve Kerr. Like, I feel like he's like almost hurting his coaching credibility the way he's coaching in these Olympics.
I agree.
I don't know if it's the different rules or whatever is catching up to him, but I want a different coach.
I don't even get it. The Warriors beat the Celtics in 22. Like they beat them. It wasn't even like it's animosity. Like the Celtics took one from them. Like, was there words exchanged in that final series that like Kerr's holding on to? Like, what do we?
I don't know. I mean, it would be really. It's a super weird move if it is like a personal thing. If he genuinely believes that like Tatum isn't their best option, that's dumb. Like that's just being a dumb coach. If it is some sort of like malice that he's trying to like get in Tatum's head, that's almost just like weird. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. I think if anything, it'll give Tatum more motivation next year.
I mean, you won't see him in 28. I'll say that. When LeBron's gone.
I hope so. I mean, I hope not.
You're not gonna. You're not gonna hit Steve Brown either. Especially if they win another ring and they get closer and it's a real dynasty and it's not some bullshit one-shot championship, and then someone moves on or some shit like Drew moves on and Brown moves on and it blows up for some odd reason.
Yeah.
If they get like a couple championships here by 28, they're both gonna skip it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Or maybe they'll want to Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown will want to come back and show that they should have been in this one playing.
If they lose to France and Tatum doesn't play again,
if they lose to France,
France is an inferior team to Serbia in my personal estimation.
I mean, I don't know enough to be honest, but if they lose to anybody, it's fucking embarrassing. Like this was borderline. If they lose this, they don't even medal. Like if they lost this game, they wouldn't have even medaled.
I know.
Or I guess they play in the bronze
game, and they would have smoked Brazil or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Germany.
I'm telling you, a 4-point win is a loss, in my opinion, for this USA basketball team. I mean, they'll get the gold. It'll go down in history 20 years from now as a great international game or whatever.
And it makes sense that the 3-time MVP is the one team with his sidekick Bogdanovich, who's a nice player, should get a shout. Like, he's a decent player in the NBA. He's not a shit.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they should outscore everybody. Like, even if Jokic is doing his thing, he's not a defender. Bogdanovich is not a defender
for like the whole fourth quarter.
Bogdanovich is not a defender. No. Like, why aren't they fucking lighting up the scoreboard? They're not shooting well.
That was. It felt like nobody could get a shot off, though, and hit a shot. That's why Tatum not playing and getting into some playmaking makes no sense. Because he can at least give you some kind of driving to the hoop. Yeah, his ISO ball, but his ISO is good. His ISO just won a ring, so you can sit next to good players. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. Would you rather be reincarnated as a quarterback for the Giants or shortstop for the Yankees?
Yeah,
you went with the Yankees.
Longer career, more guaranteed contracts. I'm not gonna get my ankles killed from behind because my left tackle is dog shit. Kind of just control my own variables. Also, like, being a baseball player is just such a calmer type of thing versus like being a football player and the preparation that's required to be a football player and a quarterback versus like a shortstop every day. Like,
I don't know. Baseball season's a grind, dude.
It is a grind of a long season, but I feel like being a Yankee shortstop, like, you travel the right way, everything's first class. Like, as much as that's a grind, it's the easiest grind with the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a slog. It's a grind. You're away from your family a lot more.
The grind too, though.
But you're home. Besides game day, you're home. You're with your family.
You get killed.
Yeah. I mean, baseball players get hurt. Like, it's not like free. You're not probably your brain is definitely safer. I guess that's the biggest argument for it. Is like the CTE stuff like that.
Sign big contracts that are guaranteed.
I mean, if you're a quarterback, you're getting paid. I mean, it's tough. But I guess, like I said, I think the biggest one that negates baseball is just how much time you're away from your family. Because you got to think the baseball season's 6 months long, and half of it you're on the road.
Yeah.
You go on a road trip to the West Coast.
Yeah,
you don't see your family for 2 weeks. Like at football, you leave on Friday or Saturday, you get back Sunday night or Monday morning, and you're back with your family. You go home, you're sleeping in your own bed. Again. So
I agree with that. I guess that's a good point. But even with that standing,
baseball is safer though long term. And
what's the Yankees?
Yeah, the Yankees over the Giants, I guess, is a big part of your argument too. But I think that's good. That's a good expansion.
And it's in New York City, and it's not in fucking East Rutherford. in the middle of fucking nowhere.
But then again, the NFL is bigger than baseball. Like, even no matter where you are, you're on a bigger stage.
The Yankees are baseball. What's bigger logo, the Yankee logo or the MLB logo?
The MLB logo.
No chance.
But the NFL logo is way bigger than the Yankee logo.
Go to an Asian country. Everyone wears Yankee hats and they don't even know what the fuck team they're wearing. That logo is so synonymous with America as a whole.
Oh, the Yankee hat, if you want to, like, that's a good...
That's what I'm saying. The logo is everywhere. That logo eats.
Yeah. But, I mean, commercially, the NFL is worth...
Yeah.
50 times what the Yankees are worth,
NFL logo is so... NBA logo is pretty good, too, because Jerry West. So that's synonymous, too. You know, like, no slack.
Speaking of Yankee hats, someone who wore them frequently was Biggie Smalls. Best Biggie song. You know what? I love the dough. I didn't come to mind when I wrote this question.
Yeah, that's for me. I guess Sky's the Limit is another one. Sky's the Limit is another one. I love the dough because just the verses. And then the verse by Jay-Z as well. The whole flow, the beat of the song, such a party anthem. I could even drop it if you want. I'll go.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get it taken down or whatever.
No. He's actually passed. He's R.I.P. to Biggie, so that's not copyright. So.
His family doesn't have it or anything?
No. Not like that.
The records, Puff Daddy?
Yeah, I think Puff has other bigger concerns right now.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking, the story, so story to tell, Warning, and then the fun ones, Juicy, Hypnotize.
Warning's a great one.
Big Papa.
Warning's a great one.
Warning is all time.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So good. And story to tell too. We're just talking about New York sports.
Yeah, story to tell's great.
Yeah. Warning is awesome.
Now you got me thinking.
Warning I think is mine. Oh, Suicidal Thoughts.
Suicidal Thoughts is nuts.
Oh my god.
Another legendary song.
What a song. Oh my god. He's Biggie, so talented.
Let me think.
How old was Biggie when he died? Like 24?
Young. I don't know. Let's see. Biggie death age. 24. What a pull.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. I can't believe how young he was. Tupac, too. It's like you see them on screen or just listen to their music and you're like, they sound so mature and evolved. And I guess that's just when you're young and successful, you grow up fast. But
yeah. The What?
Unbelievable talent.
What also? The What? Yeah, that's an amazing song. Who Shot Ya is classic.
Oh my God, so good.
Trying to think. Rap Phenomenon, produced by DJ Premier, of course.
I'm a big fan. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but with Tupac and Biggie, both after they died, unreleased verses or whatever, Running.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. I mean, that's an unbelievable song. Running's great.
We fighting to live. That song is so good.
Dead Wrong with Eminem. I mean, that's
Dead Wrong is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole Life After Death album from Biggie is so good too.
Yeah.
So good.
He's a legend.
I'm definitely locking in on Biggie. He's going to get you playing a PPR league, you playing a half-point PPR league. He had 75 catches last year. He had a game with like 15 catches. So maybe he won't get that early down work. Like I don't see him rushing for 1,000 yards. No. I see him more in like the 600 to 800 range, but he's going to catch between 60 and 80 passes and have another 400 to 600 yards there. And then I think he'll score in the realm of 6 to 9 touchdowns. And that's also, again, he had 6 touchdowns last year. It's not a crazy number at all. And, that could obviously shoot up with some big plays here and there. So I think Kamara is actually a little bit undervalued. Like I said, people talk about there's no way I'd take him in the 3rd round when I literally did it last year. I'm like, that's crazy.
Is he the 3rd best running back off the board?
Who?
Kamara.
No. I mean, I would take, Christian McCaffrey,
then Gibbs, and then
Bijan Robinson.
Oh yeah, Bijan is another name.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson.
You'd rather have Bijan than Kamara?
Yeah, I'd rather have Bijan than Kamara. Younger, that offense. I think they'll feature him. New coach Raheem Morris. I think will kind of try to preach, run the ball, play defense. Obviously, a defensive-minded guy. And then also trying to just think of other running backs off the top of my head.
Is
And this
Joe
is
Mixon ahead of Kamara?
Yeah, in my opinion, I drafted him above. I really like Joe Mixon. He had a really good year last year. Joe Mixon. He was in
a new team,
but a new team that has a good offense.
That's true.
With a good quarterback, good wide receiver core. And in a kind of soft division defensively. I don't know what the Titans are going to look like without Vrabel. I don't know what the Jaguars are going to look like on defense. I don't think the Colts are going to be very good on defense. That's 6 games against, depending on how that late season falls. Maybe one of those games is week 18 against those teams, but I think likely one of those. So probably 5 games in fantasy against weaker teams. I haven't evaluated the schedule fully, but Joe Mixon is also, a very capable running back. He is also a guy who kind of seems like an every other year guy. So maybe this could be a down year, but I do like the situation for him. And I have him slightly above him. I took him a couple of picks before him in the mock.
I think he'll be important for them in the playoffs later in the year. I think he was signed more on the perspective that he's a veteran running back that can take them home in the playoffs when things get muddy and, he won't have his lot wear and tear. Like, for my opinion, with Mixon, I feel like weeks 1 through 10, you won't see the Mixon that maybe you saw last year within that offensive Stroud in terms of usage, because I feel like the main reason they got him was to put them over the hump and take them, on that deeper playoff run, because you need great running in order to make a deep playoff run in the NFL. You cannot get to the Super Bowl without running the ball, and the Chiefs showed everyone that they didn't even really need to pass the ball super well, and they really just focused on running the ball, and you can make the Super Bowl. Running passing in the playoffs.
And I do think Devin Singletary had a really good year for the Texans last year, and he's obviously with the Giants now. And so I think that role opens up well for him. They still have Dameon Pierce, but I do think Mixon will have a nice year. But it leads me to a thought of who I think is being underdrafted, and I think that's Derrick Henry. He's a guy who has been a monster in the league for a long time. I know running backs hit that proverbial point where they fall off, but on that Ravens offense, I could easily see him having a almost upgraded version of a LeGarrette Blount year when he had with the Patriots, when he had 18 touchdowns.
18 touchdowns.
Yeah, something like that, where just around the goal line, he becomes a monster. They don't really need to have him in there all the time. They got the Keaton Mitchells of the
world. Have him in Dynasty, bro. I hope.
Yeah.
What you're saying, I hope you're saying is right. And Lamar's not going to hijack everything, because I don't know how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at Lamar like I look at a Jalen Hurts as a hijack, short yardage guy. He seems to score touchdowns from the 10, 15, 20-yard range.
Scramble it in versus
I don't think he's and he's also a big yards guy on the ground. I don't see him as a get behind the center and QB sneak. At least from my recollection, I don't remember him doing that a lot. At least, obviously, not nearly the level of Jalen Hurts, who's been historic the past few seasons in terms of those QB sneaks.
Yeah,
in short yardage.
Baltimore also really likes that Mitchell kid. I know, Keon Mitchell.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's it's not going to be a typical Derrick Henry's run for 2,000 yards in the NFL before. It's not going to be that. But even if he has 800 yards and 12 touchdowns, it's a very good fantasy season. He's obviously not going to catch many passes, if any at all.
No.
But if he gets you a lot of touchdowns and a good amount of yards, and he's still Derrick Henry, and if they could open up holes for him and they could create offense for him, the name is escaping me, their offensive coordinator right now, but he's a creative play caller. Greg Roman, is he still there?
No, it's not Greg Roman. OC Ravens.
Todd Monken, that's his name. They have similar name, white guy names, Greg Roman to Todd Monken. Both one syllable to 2 syllable, ends in a unsound.
Yeah, that's funny.
But they both. He's a creative offensive play caller. I think that he's someone who could be very beneficial for the team that gets him this year as a low-key breakout guy. And then. Yeah, for your dynasty team at least.
I have him and Bijan, Nick Chubb, James Conner, and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, your running backs are stacked. How many teams are in that league?
It's 12 team. I just traded JJ McCarthy and Blake Corum for Aaron Jones, Josh Palmer, and the backup Browning because I have Burrow. I'm going for I'm balls deep for trying to go for the dub yeah.
I don't love that.
Yeah, I know. That's what some people were saying to me, but some other people say they love it. Like you and some other people that do well in fantasy have told me they hate it, and then there's other people that do well in fantasy, like Abo, whoever else, that love it based on my team and being a win now team.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love it. I mean,
you love Blake Corum, that's why.
I do like Blake Corum a lot, but I also think I think Aaron Jones is really good, but I do think Ty Chandler. They have something with Ty Chandler in Minnesota.
I was in that trade as well. And I got
Ty. They have Ty Chandler also.
He came with the trade. Sorry, it's 4 for those two.
All right, that definitely makes it better to have Ty Chandler in it for sure. Helps a lot.
I didn't add him in because it wasn't contextual, like within what we were talking about. But yes, he was the 4th player in the trade.
Yeah, that makes sense. And a lot of Vikings going back and forth in that trade.
I didn't decide to include it, but funny that was your take.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. Ty Chandler, I had him in fantasy last year. Had some real good weeks for me towards the end of the year, like 150-yard rushing game. I think he was a rookie last year from UNC, maybe second year. I think rookie.
When I organized the trade, I was literally telling him that if you don't include Ty Chandler, we can't do this because I'm giving you a rookie starting quarterback in theory. That was my sale.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy's looking good from what I'm reading too. But that's the guy I was thinking about as like a later round pick, trying to get a sneaky quarterback. Jaden Daniel, another one.
Penix is another.
Jaden Daniel. I mean, Penix, I just think Kirk has that job, so I don't think you can draft him. Yeah, but you can't draft a quarterback who's a backup in fantasy.
Maine keeps drafting Burke Cousins. He loves doing it in mock drafts. His favorite thing.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins is decent in fantasy.
But it's the best.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I want to shout out before we end the show. I do think Brandon Cooks is sneaky. I think he's going later than he should.
I think Dak in general is sneaky. I think this is like you talk about revenge tour before about Boston Celtics. Talk about a guy that's trying to like smack around the owner a little bit and be like, "Yo, you don't want to pay me? Oh, you want to pay me? Oh, you want? All right, cool. I'm gonna ball out, and you're gonna see what I'm worth in the open market, and you're gonna have your dick in your hand." And
I think for Dak, I think it's kind of a situation where he's getting older. He's already got a big contract, and the Cowboys this year, briefly, because we were getting a little long, I think they're in a spot where it's not so much a rebuilding year, but it's a point where it's like, all right, let's see what we got, and let's see where we're at, and we're not paying anybody until we're sure that we want to do this the way it's built now. And it's tough to argue against it because as great as Dak has been, he's underperformed in the big moments, and that's where you get paid for. Last year, obviously, against the Packers, throwing pick six, multiple, I think 2 pick sixes in that game. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. The year before when they lose to the 49ers and Brock Purdy, 3 interceptions in that game. It's tough. He had some big playoff games against Tampa. Even in his first playoff game ever, he played big against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just somehow managed to make a ball move in the air to somehow be completed with Jared Cook. Yeah,
one person on the planet that could ever complete that pass.
It literally looked like that. It was like it had like some sort of side spin on it.
Couldn't replicate it if he tried to.
No. I mean, he might be able to, but he's the only one.
Yeah.
At that point too, not anymore. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will never be replicated because he got older from that spot, and there's no way.
It was crazy. But as much as I love the team and I have a weird feeling about this year where it's either they're gonna go ape shit and have like an amazing season and surprise everybody, like the one year where there isn't this hype around the Cowboys that everyone always complains about. Oh, the Cowboys are always on ESPN. Everyone always thinks the Cowboys are amazing.
The Giants,
Cowboys fans always, Cowboys fans always, this and that. Now Cowboys fans are like, fuck Jerry Jones. They don't have Pay-CD. Micah doesn't have a deal yet. Dak is in flux. It's almost like, all right, maybe without the hype, maybe it leads to good things.
It's football.
And then the other side of that coin is, or it just all falls apart because Jerry Jones is mismanaging everything from the top down. And this might be the year where they're 5-12, they're 6-11, and they need to rebuild.
All the excuse in the world just to say goodbye.
Exactly. And then, it's kind of the worst case scenario is like 9-8, barely sneak into the playoffs, get a shitty draft pick, lose in the first round, and be going into the same situation next year. Where if like, oh, should we try to just build off what we have or should we blow it up? Like
nothing's better. Nothing's worse than meddling. Yeah.
That's the worst spot in sports, to be honest. As much as it's nice to make the playoffs, because once you're in the tournament, you always have a shot. There's nothing worse than I'd rather be a bad team with a high draft pick and hopes of moving forward and getting young guys, or a great team that's in the title contention, which to be fair, even though they've blown it in the playoffs, the Cowboys have put together, quality rosters that have talent capable of making runs, and it hasn't been
They give the fans a reason to show up every week. The Giants fans, on the other hand, do not have necessarily a reason to show up every week over the last several years. And that's something that's a big difference between both teams that maybe haven't won in a long time. That at the end of the day, when you put a good product out there and Dak's going 10-6, 11-5 every single season, and he's throwing for 4,000 yards every single season, and you guys are going to the playoffs every single season, it feels like. That's a whole different feeling as a fan than being a fan, like you said, about just staying in the dumpster and wishing upon a star in one season, like when Daniel went to the playoffs in 2022.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say Dak's rookie year was like the most hopeful year. I just think they had a really talented team around him. I think that was a situation where we kind of got like a bad bounce. But even though it was Aaron Rodgers making an amazing throw, it was like, man, we just fell short and lost. And even though it was the early round, the wild card round, the last two seasons have been worse because they just got like their teeth kicked in. Even if it was in the second round against San Francisco, they didn't really get their teeth kicked in that game. To be fair, the defense played great.
The Packer game was a
it was a beatdown. Yeah, that game was over at halftime. But the San Francisco game, actually, I give the defense a lot of credit for that game. That was more just the offense floundering. I think that was like, I think that was an 8-point game with like 2 minutes left.
Set up. Yeah, they got set up.
That game to the very last stupid play with Zeke. The outcome was in question.
I forgot that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how. And then it was Zeke as the center, like fumbling. After fucking Dak like QB sneaked.
What is the deal? There's something in the water when it comes to the Cowboys and the Packers. It's so unbelievable.
Well, the Packers own the Cowboys in the playoffs. I mean. So when Mike McCarthy's the Packers coach or Mike McCarthy's the Cowboys coach, they can't get it done. Aaron Jones has been really good.
At least we'll get a new coach next year, most likely, which is good.
Yeah, we'll move on. We'll shut it down with
yes, sir. It's been an incredible episode, my G, as always.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say I disagree. I think there's way more guys in their 30s who can run a 7.5-minute mile than can bench press 225 pounds.
Maybe, but I still think the older guy in his 30s that's keeping up and being able to do the 750, 730 mile, whatever you said, that's impressive.
You don't think you could get out of bed and train for like 2 weeks and run a 730 mile? Like if you,
I don't know, probably me though.
But in 2 weeks, there's no way in hell you're bench pressing 225 pounds.
Go through our group chat. Name the guys in there that 2 weeks they can run a 730 mile. 2 weeks.
All right, this is a good experiment. I'm gonna fucking do it because I think we're gonna show you.
I got 3 guys off the top of my head that have no chance.
So all right, Buddy can for sure run a 7.5-minute mile.
That's one.
Casey, I don't know.
That 2 weeks.
Casey, maybe. I'll put him as a maybe. D'Lo, 100%.
100%.
Eddie Saint, I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe.
I'm going to go with a no.
Luzada, no chance.
No.
Ficini, no chance.
No.
Jake, I would lean towards no, but maybe.
He's like a sneaky athlete, kind
of. Yeah, Jake works out. I think he could, actually. I'll give it to him.
I think he could.
Jamie DiLorenzo absolutely can 100%. Do it right now. Javi, no chance.
No.
Jermaine, I doubt it.
No way.
Joey, for sure.
Yeah, Mike, for sure.
Mike, for sure.
For sure.
Nick, for sure.
750?
730 mile.
730 mile. Guy's eyes are bigger than his stomach.
I don't know. He's in pretty good shape, Nick.
Sprint, maybe, but
put him as a maybe. But you could sprint for a lap, then walk for. You could get to 730.
That's true. That's true. All right, we'll give Nick a maybe.
Rob,
he's gonna hate me for that. I'll give you a maybe, Nick.
Rob, no.
No.
You said maybe for yourself. I say 100% for myself. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And who that group could bench press 225 pounds?
Well, I'm a no.
Well, I'd say D'Lo, Buddy, maybe. I don't know. Casey, I think.
Casey, yeah.
D'Lo, we already said. Eddie Saint, I think. Eddie Luzada.
25. Yeah, for sure. Saint could do it. I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Luzada can. Ficini, maybe, honestly. Sneaky.
225.
He's strong. I don't know.
At this
Maybe.
moment, I
In
don't know.
2
Maybe.
weeks, we'll give him the same amount of time to run
2
the
weeks.
mile.
Right.
Warm up a little bit.
All right, so
Fold that-
maybe so I'll put myself as a maybe then. But
I
still
would say
no.
Jake. Nah, when was the last time you lifted anything?
Years.
Yeah, there's no 225 is heavy.
That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of these guys haven't lifted in years.
He's stronger than you. No offense.
For sure. No offense taken. But I'm
Yeah.
not saying that 225, like you just said, is pretty heavy if he hasn't lifted in a while. Still,
We have a pretty strong group chat for the general population versus.
We do.
athletic.
Yes, I would agree.
Jake, I think can. Jamie definitely can. Javi, no chance. Jermaine, no chance.
No.
Joey for sure. Mike, I don't think so. Mike's pretty skinny.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nick can. Rob, I don't know.
I don't think
He's
so.
got
Maybe
short
train 2
arms.
weeks. If he trains 2 weeks, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. At 225 is not light, honestly.
It's not light, but Rob's got a different kind of frame.
He's got short
He
arms.
almost has a good lifting frame in a sense.
He's got short arms for sure.
Yeah.
That was pretty close. I guess it's closer than I thought. But then again, I think this sample size isn't accurate to like 30-year-old people in general.
I think it's decent. Think about it. I think it's decent. You got your mixed bag of maybes, no's, and yeses. It's not as straight, clear cut for either thing, is what I'm saying, depending on.
Fair enough.
That's what I would say. That's why I went with the mile thing. I feel like a lot
We
of people
get like
cannot do a
videos
mile.
on-
People
we
could do
gotta
a
get-
sprint, like 100 meter maybe, and just go balls to the wall, a 40-yard dash. But a mile, in 7:30.
I don't know. I just think because with the mile thing, it's like it's just 1 mile, and you just got to do it. It's not like you need to you just have to get through it.
True.
225 pounds. If you can't lift it, you can't lift it.
Yeah.
Like anyone can run. It's almost like will. You could will yourself to a 7.5.
True. Everyone will have the opportunity to see if they could in the running part. The lifting one, everyone can't see if they can because there's people that will literally not be able to lift it at all.
And like I said, the running is like at least 50% mental, if not more. Like if you just push yourself and just when your first thought that your mind has to quit and you just like push past that, like I think you could probably run a 7.5 minute mile tomorrow if you really push yourself.
Maybe. All right, we'll leave it off there. I like it. I'm gonna clip this, so this is amazing for sure.
Yeah.
But Row 26, we're here, bro. Rest of the summer, you know the deal. We're gonna have one of our buddies on soon.
Fantasy podcast show coming up soon.
We might even do like a little mock draft thing on the show or something like that. Keep it locked, and we'll have some of our buddies on, including the commissioner as well, on the show soon. But Row 26, we out of here. Hots, it's been a pleasure, bro, as always.
Peace.
Catch you next week. Be good, boys. Keep it live.
Later, guys. Love you.
Oh, and shout out Jalen Brunson. He's the captain.